This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Underwear drawers are like the Wild West. You never know what you're going to pull out or what shape it's in. So upgrade your collection with the buttery soft comfort of MeUndies. MeUndies' signature fabric is as soft as a warm hug from your favorite sweater. Plus, it's breathable and oh so comfy, making it ideal for all-day wear. Get 20% off your first order, plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/Spotify with code SPOTIFY. That's MeUndies.com/Spotify, code SPOTIFY.
You know what's smart? Enjoying a fresh gourmet meal at home that you didn't have to cook. Meet Factor, your loophole in the laws of mealtime. Chef-crafted meals delivered with a tap, ready in just 2 minutes. You know what's even smarter? Treating yourself without cheating your goals. Factor is dietitian approved, chef prepared, and you plated. Pretty smart, huh? Refresh your routine and eat smart with Factor. Learn more at factormeals.com.
If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
If you don't like what we tell you to believe in, we'll kill you.
All right, kids. Listen. Don't listen to this podcast.
Don't listen to this.
If you're not of age.
What's of age?
18.
So 16?
18. We're a bunch of dudes, and we're going to say some really bad words.
Welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast.
We're here, finally.
Yes.
Finally, the episode you've been waiting for.
Part two.
Part 2.
Of the Pyramids.
Yeah, sorry.
Episode 101.
101.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm going to give you the fucking Pyramids 101, the real deal.
Absolutely. So as we do, if you have not listened to part 1, God damn it, go back to part 1 because, you know, it's a 90 minutes of data that you got to get.
It's such a good episode.
90 minutes of gold.
It's a good episode.
Yeah,
it's a great episode.
That's right.
We didn't get anything, like, you know, just listen to it.
Yeah.
Just do your job.
So
but this is going to be the good one, though.
Yeah.
It's okay if you don't actually listen. This is going to be the good one.
Oh, pretty biased there. Pretty biased. So in episode 1, we went over the history of the pyramids, brief cliff notes of ancient Egypt, where it was, what timeline it was, all the data, kind of
the length
what it was
of the dynasty.
Yeah, what it was like to live there, what it was like to, you know, be a quote unquote slave building
labor,
quote unquote.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So here we are, and now this is Sean's turn to talk about the mysteries of the pyramids and why it doesn't motherfucking make sense.
It really doesn't. So I wanted to start off because a common misconception is that, like, there's only a couple pyramids. So I had a quick little note here. There's actually over 1,000 pyramids around the world. I just wanted to make that known.
Insanity.
They're built by various
1,000?
Over 1,000.
Damn.
So what you're saying is there's 1,000 aliens that just came down and they're like, let's put them all in here.
No,
Let's put them in
listen.
Peru and
They're not. The reason everyone focuses on the Great Pyramids of Giza because they are a complete anomaly. Like, obviously, there's many other pyramids, but they're not even remotely.
It's not even just the majestic, the size. It's
the
other
size,
things that we're going to get into.
The precision.
Today.
There's all these other factors that none of these other ones compare to. But I just still want to make it known that there's over 1,000, and they're built by various different civilizations throughout history. There's over 120 pyramids in Egypt. There's over 200 pyramids in Sudan, which is like ancient Nubia. There's over 300 pyramids in Mexico.
Yep.
There's over 200 pyramids in Peru. There's 40 pyramids in China. There's pyramids in Indonesia.
There's pyramids in China.
Oh, yeah. There's pyramids in Greece, Rome, Bosnia. There's Polynesian pyramids. Like, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So I did want to make a quick little note that it's not just like a couple pyramids in Egypt. They're fucking everywhere. So.
I've been to some in Mexico.
Have you?
Of course you have.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Are we going to get into those?
No, we're not going to get it. But there's
All right, so let me tell you now.
Yeah, they're like.
I'm just saying.
So there's one.
Were they as grandiose as
Not as
Not
the
really?
not
No,
as
they're
the
not just
Egypt
kinda
ones. So
There's some big ones, but they're not.
I've been
like
to
that
two
big.
different ones. One really big. One was like meh.
Yeah.
The one that was kind of small and like meh is
like you and I could have built?
Like
it.
we built it.
yeah, like we could have built.
They
this
built
shit
it in
our
like 6
backyard.
hours.
There's one right outside of Cancun in Tulum, I think it is.
Tulum. Yeah.
They're all right. But then there's one that was really cool right outside of Mexico City. I think it's called, the city is like Teotihuacan.
Wow,
that was
God, the way you say that sounds so amazing.
Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan.
I'm not
So-
gay, but that
so
was
they have
super,
these-
But I'm interested.
I'm super interested now. Yeah.
So there's these two. There's these.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. You're gonna start.
Talk down to the tell me what is it called?
Teotihuacan.
Oh my god!
Let's take a trip to Teotihuacan.
I mean, needless to say, I think we're gonna get some DMs on the Instagram.
Absolutely.
Teotihuacan.
Anyways, so you go there. This was pretty cool. So they have these two huge. Well, it was huge to me, pyramids, because I don't really know like the real size of the Great Pyramid of Giza. But anyway, huge ones, and then one is called the Sun, and one is called the Moon.
Okay,
Yeah,
cute.
pretty cool.
It's cute. Yeah.
And nowadays they don't let you climb it, but back then they did. So I climbed all the way to the top.
Sick.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was super cool
And
experience.
so, how long did it take you to climb it?
I mean,
Just like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
maybe a little bit longer because it's like it is pretty big.
Big old steps.
Yeah, it's big. It's pretty big, and I'm fat and out of shape.
But those pyramids, you weren't like, this is impossible to build.
They were still very majestic. Yes, I would still say like,
how did they do it?
how did they do it? But it didn't seem like huge as
It wasn't
blocks
the
of granite.
same
No,
fucking
they were definitely
majesty.
smaller blocks of stones and stuff like that. So a little more plausible, but anyways,
Okay.
But still,
super cool experience.
Still
Still
good to
sus.
know.
Still sus.
Oh yeah,
also-
still a little sus.
Also, it's good to know though, because I mean that argument is, or not argument, but like knowing there are other periods around the planet.
Yeah, there's a bunch, and there's a shitload.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's even speculation
China?
that there's
Like, what the
pyramids
fuck?
in Antarctica, but who
Yeah.
knows if that's actually real.
seriously?
I saw
Oh,
some
yeah,
of that
100%,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if the images are real or fabricated, so that's why I didn't really get into that. But anyways, so this entire episode's about the oddities and the mysteries of the Great Pyramids of Giza.
Okay.
So the Great Pyramid of Giza was built by Pharaoh Khufu, which we talked about. And this is around 2580 BCE. It's the largest and the most precise pyramid that's ever been constructed, which is why it obviously gets most of the focus and most of the conspiracies go to that one. So supposedly we know a bit about what's how it was constructed and all this other stuff. There's all these things that are puzzled us, and this is why we're here. So I kind of broke it down into the various kind of things that were the oddities. The first of which is the mathematical and the astronomical alignments. So, which we talked about in episode 1, is the near perfect cardinal alignment. So the Great Pyramid is aligned almost perfectly with true north. It's only off by 0.05 degrees, which I had mentioned.
So it's off.
By okay. Dude, it's off by 0.05. No, 0.05.
Oh shit.
0.05.
5 like inches?
0.05 degrees.
Degrees.
It's off by 0.05 degrees.
So I wonder how big that is.
It's
What's a degree?
microbial.
Like,
it's like
really?
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
it's 0.05. Do you realize how small of a percentage that is?
off straight north.
Off perfect true north.
True north.
I think to give like an example, and I don't remember the exact cities, but there was something that like if you fly from LA to New York and you're off by just 5 degrees, you're gonna end up in like South Carolina or some shit like that.
I mean,
that's 5 degrees. So like, just I don't know, just to give you an example,
and
like
just to give you like
wild.
some more. That's more precise than many modern day structures, including some like contemporary observatories that are like in present built to try to align with it. It's more precise than they are.
Yeah.
Like just to give you a comparison. So the Washington Monument is off by 0.07 degrees.
Okay.
And they built it to try to specifically
if you don't know what the Washington Monument is, it's a big obelisk. It's
me and Eric had sandwiches there.
Absolutely.
Me and Eric, we had some potbelly sandwiches at the Washington Monument.
Strange story. So we went there for a wedding, and then we were like, I think I got like a hankering, like a thing. I was like, "Hey, Sean, I want to just eat a big old dirty sandwich."
He literally was
on
like,
the steps.
He was like, "I want to eat a sandwich at the Lincoln Memorial and like
sit on the steps, and we did it.
And there was like hundreds of other people there, and we
were slobbering the sandwiches.
I know we were hungover.
Yes.
It was like
Man, it was a great time,
dude. It was like one of my awesome memories. It was amazing. I loved it.
All right, but that thing is a massive monument, and
so it's a fucking obelisk.
So it's off by 0.7.
With all the modern technology that we have
nowadays. So the Washington
Monument
is off by 0.07.
0.07.
And that is like with modern technology. So the Paris Observatory is off by 0.2 degrees. And the Great Pyramid's accuracy surpasses that accuracy in terms of being
accuracy
aligned.
of being north.
Being aligned, being aligned
north.
with true north.
Okay.
And they did this fucking 5,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Are you fucking kidding me? So then we get into the precise alignment suggests a couple of different things. The first being religious and mythological significance.
Yeah.
So the ancient Egyptians believed in a cosmic order, which they called Maat. And aligning the pyramid with the cardinal points may have symbolized like balance and harmony with this cosmic order. So that's kind of like some other belief systems. We got into this in the first episode a little bit, but so the North was particularly important as it was associated with the imperishable stars, which is, you think of like the North Star, you think of these things that are like the constants in their life, which is these celestial bodies.
That are constant through the generations. Like the North Star is always there.
Right.
At the summer solstice of the night's party with you and
100%.
Yes.
So it's like these are the things that are
the de-virgining of the woman,
the flowering of
the
exactly. Sweetheart, I'm gonna take you.
Dude, honestly, I mean, let's be honest. Yeah.
So the second thing, which is very similar, which is astronomical and celestial connections. The Great Pyramid may have functioned as an astronomical observatory itself.
Okay, I like this.
Yeah, so
I like this.
They're thinking of like that as being a way to then further be connected to these astrological bodies. So the shafts that are inside the pyramid also align with specific stars, including Orion and Sirius. So this reinforces the connection between the pharaohs and their afterlife journey. So the Egyptians believed that their spirits would go through these shafts and then go to these specific astral bodies. Like that was where, in their eyes, that was where they would go to the afterlife, to these specific points.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's one of the theories. And then another one is advanced surveying and engineering technology, which we will get into in depth further. But these precise orientations suggest that they had an exceptional knowledge of astronomy and measurement techniques long before the invention of the magnetic compass.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So like, how would you even?
I'm down with. Yeah,
how would
I
you
agree
even
with that.
fucking know what True North was in fucking 2586 BCE?
You got a theory on that, Eric?
How the fuck would you know?
I mean,
yeah, that's
honestly,
what I thought. Grounded. There's grounded in reality.
The only thing I think of is if this is if this is your life for thousands of years and you're operating off of the stars, then you know.
No, but
like
there was no
but like for thousands of years
you just know where
you're
north
operating,
is.
Well, you're using the stars as your directional points.
Right. Okay.
And that's your compass.
Yeah.
The stars, because they don't move.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
So there was moving on. What exquisite explanation by Eric here. Really has got me dialed in. And I'm going to be extremely aggro towards Eric.
Yeah,
episode.
I feel like there's going to be
Fair
a peak.
warning.
There's going to be a peak.
There's a peak.
And
Eric might leave. He might just
We
walk
might
out.
have a fight here.
Yeah.
Just fair warning.
No.
So there are several theories that exist that about how they achieve such accuracy. So, and I'm going to go through these. So the first is what they call the shadow and the gnomon method, which is solar observation. So the Egyptians may have used a vertical rod, which is called a gnomon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's GN, gnome, like gnomon. Maybe it's a gnomon, to track the sun's movement. And so by marking the shortest shadow at noon, which is solar noon, they could determine true north based on these shadows. This method would require accurate observation over multiple days to ensure precision, because obviously the way that the sun works, it's not always in the same exact place. So you're constantly having to observe these shadows. This is one theory. I'm not saying this is accurate. This is a particular theory.
Yeah.
The second being the star tracking method, which is they call the pole star method. So some researchers suggest that Egyptians use a technique called stellar alignment when they, in essence, tracking the star's movement. So around 2500 BCE, the pole star was Thuban, Alpha Draconis, that's the actual name, not Polaris. And so by observing Thuban at the exact moment it crossed the meridian, which is the highest point in the sky, they could establish true north based on that movement. This is all fucking...
I like that theory.
So this is Jorge and I drawing a line in the sand, and then watching it for 50 years and seeing the shadow move across the sand and going,
this is true north,
I
boys.
think we found a pattern here.
breaker.
Let's go back to the bakery. And then we're gonna fucking tell the boys about this.
Meanwhile, I'm at the virgin fire pit.
Eric's praying to the god of lust. Come on, baby.
Okay, I get it though. I get it.
And so then there's also, which we talked about in episode 1 of this of the pyramids, a plumb line, which is a weight on a string that could be used for particular accuracy.
It's like a old school measurement tool.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
So
super
that was
super archaic or
extremely archaic.
yeah.
So next is what's called the meridian transit technique.
Holy shit.
So they use 2 aligned sighting rods, which is like an early form. You know, just to give you an example, like have you ever seen like the dudes that are the fucking they're on the street, they're wearing like the orange vests and like the guy's looking through the thing.
Yeah.
And there's like another dude with a pole. They're surveyors.
Yes.
So like that's like different surveying techniques that they use line of sight. That's a particular surveying technique.
What are they doing?
It's they're doing surveying like
But for what?
But like what? They're trying to
Like,
find
why
some...
are they in my house? Like, on my property? What the fuck are they doing?
They've never been in your house.
I've literally called the cops on these people like 3 times.
So anyways, so they're using these sighting rods, which is like an archaic version of this, in essence, surveying. And they could track a star as it moved across the sky.
So real quick, can I just pause? So are they just trying to survey the land to better the betterment of the maps?
Well, no, in this technique, they're using these sighting rods to, in essence, track star movement.
Okay.
So they're like, okay, we're going to be in a constant position here on Earth because we're on it. And then we're going to track star movement based on...
So
based on the days, based on time to decide like, okay, this is how like this is the perfect alignment based on how they move around. This is going to be the most aligned point.
Gotcha.
This is all speculation.
Okay.
But so they're essentially the astronomers that are on Earth comparing astronomy to the land.
No, they're using Earth constants against star movement.
Gotcha.
So granted, this method does require repeated observation over time to refine the accuracy because obviously the celestial bodies are technically moving because according to modern science, we are actually we're moving through the universe.
Yeah.
And so like the sun's always in a different position. Like the stars are technically are in motion in comparison to us.
Quick question, and we can edit this out if it's not. But did the Egyptians know that we were on like a ball that was moving?
I have no idea. I actually have no idea.
They can't know that.
I don't
How
think
the fuck are they supposed to know that?
I don't think they could ever fucking
Do you know what I mean though? Like,
No.
Did they know that we were?
I highly doubt that they knew that. Unless
Really? Yeah.
exterior forces.
Somebody told them.
Yeah, exterior forces let them know. Let them in on the game here. They knew. You know what? Solved.
It's interesting because if they didn't know,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's actually amazing.
who knows? Anyways,
No, if they didn't know, like they're trying to figure out this, like Sean's saying, like this. Okay,
And the
there's movement going on.
Yeah, there's movement.
I look up at the
of some
sky
kind.
every night, and then I'm starting to notice the fucking stars are
Things in a
moving.
slightly different
So
position.
then they develop this way of like being able to track this shit.
Yeah, that's right.
So the last method that is speculated that they could have used is what's called the water reflection method. So this is where they take a flat water basin that in essence could be used to reflect the night sky, allowing for precise alignment measurements. So it's in essence, it's instead of looking at the sky, you're looking through a pool. of
Interesting.
water.
Some like
I
mirror.
like that. Yeah, I like
You
that.
like that one?
So it's like a pool of water, and then you go like the movement of the water, and then going.
No,
like,
it's actually where the stars. So in
no,
essence,
absolutely not. That's not what I said at all.
no, no, they don't have the,
Wrong.
No. Are you listening? Because
They're saying that you're making the water's moving, the stars are moving.
Oh, I saw a wave. I saw it.
I saw a wave.
gravity.
Little ripple.
The gravity.
No, the whole point of this method is that the still water acts as a perfect level mirror.
Right.
For
So now
alignment-
they're trying
for
to.
aligning. So it's like
So essentially, like they're using that as like their telescope type thing, but like it's a mirror.
It's also like okay, you put a bit. No,
the
listen.
water is a mirror.
No, but listen.
Yeah.
No, Eric,
I know,
it's
it's
very
complicated,
no, it's
yeah.
simple. Imagine this.
Oh, it's simple.
No, it is. No, when you think about it like this, listen.
Yeah. Okay.
So you put a big water jug on the ground. You put a big water jug on the ground.
Yeah.
And let's say like at night, okay, you see the reflection, you see where the stars are in relation to this circle.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, and say a month from now you do the same thing, and the stars are in a
Moved.
different position
Okay.
from when, but you're looking at a very flat level surface,
Yeah.
and then where the stars are at a different time, and you see that okay. Here, I make a line. Okay, this was 1 inch in, 1 inch out with this main star.
Okay.
And then a month later, okay, now it's 1.5 inches here. Okay, cool. Now we can start working on alignment based on the period of time
Got
that it is. So it's giving you a
cool.
constant.
Okay.
Like
cool.
here's the constant, which is the pool,
Yeah.
and now here's where the star is now. As opposed to looking up, you're like, is that is that different?
Yeah.
Is that a different place?
Did I
Now
have
you
too much wine today? Am I seeing this right?
I was like, that mead's hitting hard right now. Like
That mead.
so now you're actually seeing in a thing, and you're looking in the same thing. You're like, oh, okay, now I can actually map the movements.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's the concept behind that theory.
What's crazy though is that, and I'm looking this up as we speak, is why didn't they just use mirrors?
They didn't fucking have
There's no
mirrors.
mirrors.
Yeah,
I don't think they had
From
gla-
what I gather, they had
No,
mirrors.
no, they didn't have glass. I don't think they had glass back in 2500 BCE.
How they have mirrors?
Well,
No, they
it
could
was
use
it was more
shiny
like
metal.
like shiny copper.
Yeah, like shiny
and
copper,
shiny
okay.
bronze.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just wondering. That
didn't
makes
have
sense
glass,
if they didn't
yeah.
have like actual mirrors.
No.
Then that makes sense because or water would be your mirror.
Yeah,
Yeah.
water's a mirror.
Yeah.
And
Got
that-
it.
And that's
Okay.
also a way to
Now,
see like
now
yeah.
I'm following. Now I'm following, and now I dig it.
Okay,
Now I
cool.
dig it. Yeah.
So now we get on to more the mathematical side of things.
I love math.
So this sector
Numbers don't lie.
No, this sector is called pi and the golden ratio
Oh
that
fuck.
appear in the dimensions, and I'll explain these.
Hmm.
So obviously most people know what pi is. So pi
Yeah.
is the Greek symbol of pi, which is like a
3.41222665.
no, it's 3.14.
Damn.
But
You're
he's-
close.
he's
Closer than I would have been. Shit. Closer than I would have
I mean, you couldn't be more wrong.
been. Yeah.
Eric, you are actually excommunicated from the podcast. You're out. You're done. So pi, for if you don't know, pi is a mathematical constant that represents the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter.
Yeah.
So it's just a math equation, and
which is wild that it is real. It doesn't seem real to me.
it doesn't seem real, but it is real.
Yeah.
It's a mathematical constant. It's something
Yeah.
that's been proven in terms of our
It checks out.
understanding.
Checks
checks
out.
out.
It checks
Yeah.
out in our understanding of
Yeah.
of the universe and how things work.
The math is mathing.
Einstein-y. Yeah.
Yeah.
The math maths
Yeah.
out.
Albert.
Yeah.
So this actually, so pi actually appears in the pyramid's proportions, which leads to speculation that the
fucking
Egyptians
wild,
had
dude.
had
That's
higher
wild.
knowledge of these types of
That
mathematics.
can't be true.
That
So
is
look,
true.
so here's-
That can't be
No,
true.
so here's how pi appears in the pyramid's dimensions.
Okay.
So the height of the pyramid was 146.6 meters. So the original height was that. So it's now 138.8 meters because obviously the cap's gone and erosion
a little bit
and all
less.
this shit.
But the main one.
Yeah.
Or the
So
main.
the base is 230.4 meters per side. And that is exact, by the way. Each side is 230.4 meters. Each side. Exactly 240 point. Like within literally like it's they're off by like
You can't
micro,
even draw a triangle if
couldn't-
I fucking paid you $100 right now.
with a fucking ruler,
Yeah.
like, and they would not
Well-
be. No, you understand? Like, each side is exactly 230.4 meters. Like, exactly. Like, how, that alone is like fucking sus.
Yes.
Hella sus. And so then the perimeter.
I mean, good engineering.
The perimeter of and perimeters, you take all the sides and you add them together is 921.6 meters. So the calculation being that the ratio of the pyramid's perimeter to its height is close to exactly 2 pi. So it's 2 times the height. Blah blah. They give the whole fucking thing.
Each
blah
side
blah
or
blah
whatever.
blah. And if you break it all down, it literally equals pi. Like if you
2 pi.
No, it's. Dude, they give you this whole. It's a real math equation, and then it breaks it down to literally equaling very close to pi, because pi is like an infinite number. Pi goes at 3.14,
But not exact.
No, because it's
as exact as you can get.
No, they
Come on.
No, they actually broke down pi to like. I think it was like 100,000 digits.
But
it was like crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Isn't pi? It can't be exact.
No, it's
meaning
infinite.
like
It's infinite. It's
like
repeating.
if you had to,
it's like saying it's here.
there's not an ability to make it exact.
Well, no, I'll give you an example. It's like how much each of us own of our LLC. It's 33.3 repeating. It's 33.33 forever.
Right.
So it'll never end.
Like
It's
fractional.
It's infinite. It's infinite because it's not a perfect. It's not a. You can't.
Right.
It doesn't work.
By CoinPod at CONPOD. Sorry.
So the point is that there's this giant math equation, but it ends up equaling pi.
Got you.
And so it just suggests that like they kind of embedded pi into its creation because the odds of that happening are pretty astro-fucking-nomical.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning they knew about mathematics.
Yes.
You had to.
No,
to build something like this.
No, specific mathematics.
No.
Not just like flashcards.
No,
right.
Multiplication.
It's insinuating that they had an understanding of circular geometry as in regards to architecture. How circular geometry is incorporated in architecture. It's like it's a very high level understanding.
Mathematic, yeah.
It's like
fucking.
That's why you look at like the motherfuckers living in like mud huts and you're like, yeah, it makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
fuckers in this shit. But then you get
Actually,
into this like,
true.
super hyper advanced shit. So then you get into the golden ratio. All right. So the golden ratio. And so what that is, so golden ratio is it's denoted by a Greek letter phi, and that's what equals the golden ratio, just like pi is a Greek letter.
Yeah.
So the golden ratio appears in many natural and artistic forms. It's associated with aesthetics, growth patterns, harmonics. It's commonly found in nature. And when it's used in a design, it fosters organic, natural-looking compositions. So
Even using like bodybuilding and shit. Like the dad bod. You want that dad bod?
You want that golden ratio?
No, it's true. Like there's a golden ratio to like how much you're supposed to have shoulders to your waist and all that. To what you were saying, like aesthetics.
It is an aesthetic thing. It's crazy. It's like a proportional ratio system.
It relates to fucking architecture, to fucking body, to fucking. Yeah.
That's why
it
appears in nature. It's like an artistic form. So it's like
real quick. How close am I into the golden ratio?
You're more like the bronze ratio. And bro, I'm
third
like
place,
dude.
I'll take third place.
I'm like the rust ratio. like my shit. I used to be
curious.
golden.
Yeah, I'm just curious. All right.
So pretty much, people claim that the Great Pyramid was designed with the golden ratio in mind, and it gets really mathematical, and like I don't want to like put you guys to sleep.
Yeah,
but it's to do with the slant and the base, and like they make a calculation, and that calculation literally equates exactly to the golden ratio, which is 1.618 repeating into other numbers, and it literally equates exactly to that. I'm not going to tell you what the equation is because I have a hard time reading it.
Crazy. It's crazy. But like, isn't the golden ratio like a Greek thing though?
Well, yes, because it's the Greeks were the ones.
That's weird.
The Greeks were the ones who figured it out.
And then later on, we learned that the Greeks were not established for another 2,000 years.
That's what I'm saying. So that's
that's the point, is the fact
So
that
are we like biting to the? You know what I mean? We're looking for that equation.
Yeah, didn't we talk about this in the first episode? Like, there's like this one truth that you like stick to, and like you try to make sense of shit.
But the fact that they can even create the fact that can even create some sort of equation,
the odds of it being
the odds
on it are pretty slim.
Yeah, to get 1.618 is pretty difficult to get that.
Unless the Greeks then developed it based on the info that they had from before.
The plentitude of documentation from the hieroglyphics.
Oh, meaning
like Hunter, this eagle.
Well, no,
golden
ratio.
Golden eagle, baby.
No, I mean the idea is that if we take mathematics from yesteryear and we learn from the mathematics of previous generations and or civilizations, then are we using that experience to develop the new things?
Okay, so I mean to that point,
right? Like so maybe
then this time era had the golden ratio.
Yeah,
to build the pyramids.
Gotcha.
Listen, I'll give you.
So maybe they were the source, and then the Greeks used them.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so my only thing about mathematics, and I've always felt this way, I think I feel this way mostly about physics, just because I feel like our concept of physics is not accurate, and most of physics is theoretical. That's why there's the practice of theoretical physics, because
ever changing.
Yeah, because it's not even really ever changing, because they refuse to get out of their bubble.
Oh, okay.
Is that we're basing everything off of only what we know. And it's very conceited to believe know it all, because we don't.
Yeah.
So I always take it with a grain of salt.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But anyways, the fact that this ratio kind of plays out suggests that the pyramid follows what's called a golden triangle, which is a right triangle with proportions based on the golden ratio.
Wow. So it's just another coincidence.
Yeah.
And so far we have multiple coincidences.
Yeah. And so just so you guys know too, like this frequently, the golden ratio frequently appears in what's called sacred geometry. It's a whole nother category.
Whoa. Of geometry?
Which we're not going to get into.
Wow.
Because it's too much.
I did not do that in high school.
Yeah.
Sacred Jumanji.
Sacred
Jumanji.
So, regarding the theories on the mathematical knowledge of the ancient Egyptians, so the mainstream view is that it's, scholars believe that the appearance of pi and the appearance of the golden ratio is unintentional. It's kind of accidental, just kind of coincidental. Like, oh, they just kind of stumbled on it. It just happened to be that way.
Coincidence.
The Egyptians were skilled in geometry and proportions, but there's no evidence that they actually explicitly knew what pi was or knew what the golden ratio was, and like purposely implemented it. And maybe they knew something else, and like it just happened to be the same shit.
Question: any other pyramids have this kind of coincidence to them?
I focus solely on the Great Pyramid. I have 20 fucking pages on just the Great Pyramid. I don't have enough time for that fucking shit.
We were thinking that if it expanded, if it did well,
we could
expand to another episode on pyramids that are not in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we can go to Mexico and were these?
But even the ones in Egypt, I'm wondering if they also have the same, built with the same kind of precision and coincidences.
Like the bent one. You remember the bent one?
Oh yeah.
The bent pyramid. Like, did that have, even though it was bent and fucked up on a structural sense, was it?
Did it still have like
was
the
it
ratio?
Due north?
Yeah. It's a good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Actually, good point. So the alternate view on these mathematical anomalies. So some researchers argue that Egyptian architects had a deeper understanding of mathematics, and they were fucking implementing that shit. They were doing it. So the precise incorporation of pi and the golden ratio suggests that an advanced knowledge of geometry was available to them at that time. And some speculate that came from a lost civilization or some sort of ancient wisdom even before them.
Oh yeah.
Like they got it from somebody else. Like we were talking about with the Greeks. Maybe the Greeks got it from the Egyptians. Maybe the Egyptians actually got it from an even more ancient civilization.
Cavemen.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this.
So then
you like this.
I mean, it's mankind and the development of man.
So there were other
makes sense.
mathematical curiosities in the Great Pyramid other than the pi and the golden ratio. So there's one that the pyramid encodes the Earth's proportions. So the ratio of the pyramid's height to its perimeter mirrors the ratio of Earth's radius to its circumference. It's an exact.
That can't be true,
dude. If you move it, if you move it down,
dude,
if you move it down, like if you make it into a smaller thing, it's an exact ratio. Like ratio meaning like if you multiply this thing by a thing, it's a ratio
of the circumference of Earth.
It's the ratio of the pyramid's height to its perimeter mirrors the ratio of the Earth's radius to its circumference.
Wow,
mirrors it.
I mean.
Like, how the fuck could you accidentally
Yes.
do that? You get whoopsie-daisy.
That's the thing.
You just
We
accidentally.
got another coincidence.
I mean, how can you can't fucking accidentally do that shit on accident.
I don't know. Yeah.
How do you accidentally fucking do that shit?
No.
It's an exact ratio.
Not an accident. It's not an accident.
And there's another one that's kind of weird, and I think it's another like, you know, I always say like more than one coincidence, it's a fucking conspiracy.
Yeah.
Like this one,
exactly,
dude. This one's a little wild, and it's a little other, but it's super fucking crazy because it's super exact. So the geographic longitude of the Great Pyramid is 29.9792 degrees north. This matches the speed of light in meters per second. No. The speed of light. No, listen, dude. It's exact number. It's an exact number. Dude, it's an exact number. That's why
I know.
it's so wild.
Eric is thinking that it's like somebody's trying to look for these numbers to match up.
Or it's like,
but it is
like
an exact fucking number.
It's just, I know.
But the thing is, like,
No,
I
it's
understand.
wild.
And it's not just one fucking number. It's like,
Dude,
look at the fucking pie and
I
this.
understand why like the laugh for sure. It makes sense. But the fact that there's so many things like the exact correlation with pi, the exact correlation with the golden ratio. And look, the speed of light in meters per second is 299,792,458 meters per second. That's the exact speed of light. So 299,792 is the first 6 digits of that, and their degrees is 299,792. I mean, it's fucking exact. It's weird. I'm not saying it's
I get it.
It's very speculative, super speculative,
circumstantially creepy,
yeah, circumstantially odd.
Suspect.
Look, even the research said it's likely a coincidence, but it's really odd that it's that exact.
Yes.
To 6 exact digits. It's really odd. So now
or could this be like
I
you know like how sometimes people like look at a dollar bill and they're like, look at this
There's
pyramid.
a dude in the bush.
Okay,
Yes.
that's a little more
Dude in the
sketch.
bush.
Like, that's a little more sketch.
I
Like,
100%.
they're like, if you fold it, you see the Twin Towers
exactly.
on
You
fire.
fold it into a fucking
And this
origami.
This was
fucking
printed
duck.
on October. And what the fuck?
Legit.
I know.
It's just the fact
I'm not gonna. You know what I mean?
It's just the fact that there's so many of these.
For sure.
Like if that was the only one, I'd be like, okay, that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
But there's like multiple other things.
It's finding your answer.
Dude, my thing is, to me,
one time, sure, but like
No, that's what
multiple-
I'm saying. That's what he's saying too. Is he saying like one? Okay.
yeah, one it'd be like, they're pushing.
We're
it.
stretching
They're
it like
pushing it.
like
They're
even
pushing
this
it hard.
table,
Exact ratio.
like for some reason this is due south based on Halley's Comet only every 64 years though.
and the feng shui that fucking Sean laid it out here.
I know. This the smoothness of
The
the
8 organs.
It points to the
Perfectly
fucking
aligned.
But what's crazy is that it aligns with the penis of the pharaoh. And the pharaoh Khufu's penis is this length.
oh man.
Anyways, but I get if there's more than
multiple.
one.
There's
if there's
multiple.
more than one, that is suspect.
Yeah.
So now we're going to do the real G's.
Yeah.
All right, so now there's the 4 mysterious shafts and their alignment.
Yeah, I know. I hate
That
these
sounds like
shafts.
a weird porn movie.
The shafts-
The 4
no,
mysterious
I know, right?
shafts.
No, and, to his point before he jumps into it. The shafts are a problem.
Yeah, the shafts are a problem.
The shafts are a problem.
So inside the
A
pyramid,
problem?
No,
I mean a problem.
You cannot. You cannot. It doesn't make
They're
sense.
hard to explain.
Okay.
They're hard to explain.
So inside the pyramid, there are 4 narrow shafts. They're each about 20 centimeters wide, and they extend from the king's chamber and the queen's chamber. And so there's 2 shafts in the king's
supposedly,
chamber,
because we don't know if it's. There's no tomb,
Right.
so and there's no writings in the walls.
Exactly.
There's no hieroglyphs, so
Exactly.
it's hard to say.
They're speculating that one's the king's chamber
Yes,
and one's
correct.
the queen's
Yeah,
chamber.
yeah.
So there's 2 shafts from the king's chamber, which is the upper chamber.
Yep.
And there's 2 shafts from the queen's chamber, which is the lower chamber. And then these shafts are angled differently, suggesting that they were designed for specific alignments. Now, the shafts in the king's chamber and their star alignments is one little sector here. So you have the southern shaft, which is called Alnatak, which is Orion's belt. That's what they called Orion's belt. So Alnatak is part of Orion's belt, and it was linked to Osiris, which is the god of the afterlife.
Yeah.
So there's common misconception. So there's Osiris, who's the god of the afterlife, and there's Anubis, who's on my arm right here, and he's the god of the dead. So that just so everyone knows.
The alignment is based on the view.
Yeah, where the shaft goes. So
you
the
can
shaft,
see
the shaft comes out, and it's aligned. It's aligned directly with that.
I know we're in an audio setting, but so if there's a shaft and then there's a hole through,
There's a hole with the shaft coming out. Yep.
and then there's you can see
Yes, from that shaft,
Orion's belt or Orion.
The way it's angled is towards that.
So obviously, back to what we had talked about, it's very astronomical.
Yes. 100%.
Yes. So we can all agree
100% agree
that it's astronomical in some sense.
It is definitely, it's specifically tuned, and this suggested that the pharaoh's soul was meant to travel toward Osiris in the sky, because Osiris was the god of the afterlife, and they were like, okay, my soul is going to go to this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So the northern shaft, which is Thuban, which is Alpha Dacronus, which is the star alignment. So Thuban was the North Star around 2500 BCE. Egyptians believed that the circumpolar stars, which never set below the horizon, were the imperishable stars, meaning they never left. They since they never set, they never left the sky. They were imperishable.
Never faded out. They never, nothing. They're always there.
They were the eternal resting place of the divine souls. So if you're considering, the pyramids being a burial place for the divine, the divine kings, whatever, that was the resting place of the divine souls. So they suggest that Khufu's spirit was meant to join the undying stars, symbolizing his immortality, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So the purpose of the king's chamber shafts, they say they served as soul pathways to guide their spirits toward the heavens, that they, in essence, were a way to kind of reinforce their beliefs in in the afterlife and where their souls were supposed to go.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I understand that. That makes sense. I think that's totally plausible in terms of them building it. My question on the shafts: how the fuck did they make these shafts?
Yeah. So
how the fuck did you make these shafts
with this precision?
And you're building a fucking pyramid. How the fuck do you make the shaft? Oh my god! No, I gotta cut this rock a little bit right here. You know what I'm saying? To make a 20
and
centimeter
it's not
shaft.
just any rock. It's like you're talking
It's
about
granite.
fucking granite, tons.
Hey, bring that copper pickaxe over here.
So I did watch I watched like 10 hours on the King's Chamber, and
there's more of the King's Chamber, bro.
And it was like, how do you make the weight of the stone above it?
We're gonna get into that.
Okay.
We haven't actually got into the King Chamber stones.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
The King Chamber stones is a completely different.
And that was one of the ones where I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know how this was accomplished.
We will get into the King Chamber stones. Yeah, okay. We're not in that. This is just the shafts.
Okay.
So then you have the Queen's Chamber shafts and their star alignment. So the southern shaft of the Queen's Chamber was aligned to Sirius. It's the brightest star in the sky. It was linked to the goddess Isis. She was the wife of Osiris, so the wife of the god of the afterlife. She was the mother of Horus, which I also have on my arm right here. This is Horus. That's Horus. He's the hawkhead god. So it played a key role in rebirth, resurrection myth. It suggests Queen Chamber is, obviously spiritual, symbolic. I think they all have spiritual, symbolic connotation. Yeah. The northern shaft, which is Kajab, which is the Beta Ursae Minoris star that it's going towards, which is the Little Dipper. Which is Ursa Minor. Yeah. So it was an important star for navigation. And the connection to the pyramid's uncertain, but they think it represents just another pathway to imperishable stars, just another thing to signify that, it's immortality and living forever because you're divine, blah, blah, blah. The shafts actually don't exit the pyramid, so they speculate that maybe it's a kind of a ritual or symbolic function rather than like an actual spirit shaft, rather than like actually being legit, like, oh, the spirit's going to go through the shaft. I think it's more symbolic. It's like, it's like symbolism. Yeah. So,
like creating a temple for the
exactly.
dead.
Exactly. We've obviously gone over a bunch of this, and some of this is going to be redundant. There's the soul pathway theory. There's the astronomical observatory theory, which means that maybe these shafts served as like star sighting tubes, like almost like you can think of it like an ancient telescope.
Yeah.
For some, in some sense, like, oh, okay, this is how we track celestial bodies. This is how we know we're on the fucking right track. There's also the rituals, which you're talking about, maybe like hidden purpose, some sort of ritualistic fucking reasons.
doing a sacrificial or whatever. I don't know.
Exactly.
Religious.
But it all like boils down to they were really focused on the afterlife. Like there's a very, very strong belief system and they were really focused on the afterlife, really reinforcing their belief system and that they're focusing these particular stars, being at these particular stars aligned to particular deities regarding the afterlife.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this really instills that we know that for a fact these motherfuckers believe in that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Based on all this data,
we all agree
that's
on
the
that.
one thing that's like certain.
Yeah. We all agree on that.
We all can agree on that.
Yeah.
The next step is the unusual construction techniques and logistics of making the pyramids. So, being one of the greatest engineering marvels in human history, despite... Oh, fuck.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast here to tell you about Michelob Ultra Courtside. It's getting fans closer to the NBA with a chance to win prizes like courtside seats, a trip to All-Star Weekend, and much more. Check it out at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access, Courtside 24-25 sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 and up. Begins on October 1st, 2024, ends July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
Building a portfolio with Fidelity Basket Portfolios is kind of like making a sandwich. It's as simple as picking your stocks and ETFs, sort of like your meats and other toppings, and managing it as one big, juicy investment. Now that's pretty good. Learn more at Fidelity.com/baskets. Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
What? What's greater?
What's greater?
What do you mean? We have skyscrapers all
yeah,
over the
they
place.
fall down. What are you talking about?
Abu Dhabi, I mean, all the things.
Dude, the pyramids have been around for 5,000 years.
Exactly.
And they're still there.
Exactly.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
we have
Eric,
civilizations. We have
You're
major
grounded in fucking
We have
lunacy.
major cities that
Okay.
have not fallen to the ground. Anyways,
So as Eric...
Yeah, but they haven't been around for 5,000 years.
the Colosseum has.
Not 5,000, first of all.
Three-
And it's falling down.
3,000.
And it's falling
Dude,
apart.
half
I
that
know, but
fucker's
I'm
already
just
gone.
saying,
Like,
like,
dude,
yeah.
are you kidding
I'm
me?
just saying there's Machu Picchu.
Dude,
How old's Machu Picchu?
That's also...
How old? I don't know. It's old, but the point is that
2,000 years old. It's a major
the point is that there's
civilization
nothing else that's
created
5,000
on
years
a
old.
mountaintop.
Still standing.
I'm just saying.
Dude, have you been to the Coliseum? I have.
I've never been to
That fucker is in disrepair.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, that thing is like holding on by a thread. like literally.
I've never been there.
It's holding on by a thread.
I've never been there. Yeah.
It's decrepit.
Have you?
Did you see Gladiator 2?
It was fucking trash.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
was
was.
it?
I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
care.
I haven't seen
Because
it.
I had like Paramount Plus. I was like, oh, for free, let's go.
Fuck,
I
that's a
watched it. I was
bummer.
like, really?
Yeah.
I was like, why?
Yeah,
Why did you do
that's
this?
a
I know, it was
bummer.
trash.
Like,
man.
why did you do this to me?
That's a
Yeah.
bummer.
I thought
I
it
haven't
was,
seen it yet.
and I'm like, Pedro Pascal is getting fucking hoed out for like everything. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, like you were good, and now this is bad.
Yeah.
This is
What a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just brought it up because it takes place in the Coliseum, obviously. And, like,
Yeah.
They fill
flooded
it with water.
it. They
and put
flooded
sharks,
it. Like, yeah,
and they put sharks. They put sharks in it.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
get the
so
fuck
dumb, man.
That's not real though, right?
No, that was the other part that was so bad. It was such bad CGI or whatever it's fucking called, like AI. Back to the AI shit.
First of all, like, how do Romans transport sharks? Like, walk me through that.
Come on.
Walk me through that mind
so
game.
dumb.
Give me that.
So
dumb.
dumb. Transport sharks on like horse and buggy. Like, get the
Anyways.
fuck out of town.
All I'm trying to say is that there's structures around the planet that are still around
That are not even
or
remotely
that are
as old.
marvels.
Like
The Golden Gate Bridge is a marvel.
Oh my god.
The Brooklyn Bridge is a marvel.
Stop
Honestly,
naming bridges.
Have you been to these? Have you seen these?
Have you seen the
Yeah.
Golden Gate
I'm
Bridge
just
5,000 years from now?
yeah.
I'm just talking about the
Okay.
ingenuity of
I'm
man.
moving on because this is
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
I'm
This is Eric. How many have you
How
had?
long?
Are you
How
does
long?
not
Do you,
compare.
how long do you think that the Golden Gate Bridge will be?
like
Another
another
20 years.
Oh fuck off! Dude, I was thinking
No
like another
way.
500 to 600 years.
No,
California?
1,000 years.
Eric, have you heard of a thing called oxidation? It's a weird thing that happens to metal.
You know,
when like oxygen
You gotta stop
turns it
watching
into
these
rust.
Planet of the Apes movies. This is not real. The monkey is not real. They're not taking over Earth.
Or what's that one with the fucking rock?
Oxidation is
what's that
a
one with
fact.
what's that one with the rock?
The
That
fucking Rampage movie.
Oh,
Oh,
it's so
shit,
bad.
man.
Anyways,
I apologize.
Thank you for apologizing, you sack
we
of shit.
needed that apology.
Sack
I mean,
of wine.
It's just not a yeah.
Anyways, please let me continue because I cannot fucking handle
Yes,
this
please
conversation
continue.
any longer.
Okay.
So, as Eric has dutifully stated, in the first episode, the pyramid consists of 2.3 million limestone blocks, some weighing up to 80 tons. So,
No,
yes,
Yes.
that's a fact.
like one.
No.
No, what?
Well, it's one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
One big one? What, it's just
one
like-
big one.
Yeah.
It's just one big one. I know, but it's like taking it out of like okay,
big
like
one
I
with-
got it.
with
but
precise
most of them
laid out.
most of them are 1 ton. Let's be honest.
No.
No, and then you say, well, they're all 1 to 80. Like, okay, that's a fucking huge stretch. No, it's
Oh my god.
no. There's like 1 or 2 at the bottom.
Eric's on
that
the
are
defensive, like we
the
just told him,
foundation.
like he was like meeting with like his doctor about like ED. He's like, no, you don't saying it works. It works like all the time. I don't need I don't know fucking problems. Like, dude, I'm like fucking, I get hard. It's easy.
Okay.
I only need it once a month. Like it works.
This is just like a
Once.
performance enhancer. It's no big deal.
I work on a fiscal cycle, so it's
Yeah.
once a quarter.
Yeah, once a quarter.
Yeah.
Dude, I was
Earnings
fucking
report.
tired. I had no sleep.
Yeah.
It was like a fluke.
Okay, anyways, I'm gonna save this. Yeah, I'm gonna save this. This is your show.
So as Eric talked about, there's many theories like ramps, counterweights, levers, internal spiral ramps, as you mentioned.
Mhm.
So we're going to get into these particular theories, and we're going
We're gonna break them
to
down.
beat them to shit.
Yeah.
So there's the ramp theories. The most widely accepted theory is that there were ramps used to transport the massive limestone and granite blocks to higher levels. They would use straight ramps, zigzagging or switchback ramps, spiral ramps. So the only problems about that is that a straight ramp would need like so much more material than the pyramid itself to construct the ramp than you would need to build the pyramid. Like there was actually a study that did.
And where is it?
No, listen.
Where they just moved it back? They just
No,
took
no,
it back on their fucking raft
Eric,
down the Nile River.
No, Eric, listen.
Sorry, I'm just laughing.
No, this is
Yeah.
This is specifically regarding a straight ramp, like
Okay.
this being straight,
So let's just-
based on actual science and actual physics.
I mean,
in order to bring a stone
just
that
by
high,
saying it's science doesn't mean it's science. Just so we're all clear.
No, but there is some science to it. There is some math.
So if I say
there is
this
math,
is science,
you do
it
agree
doesn't
with math,
mean it's science.
but
just
you
so
agree
we're all
with
clear.
math.
No.
And
But no, here's the theory. Yeah.
what is that?
he's drawing some.
It's
He's
like
drawing
it's like a
some.
triangle.
So here's the
Some
Nile.
shit.
Here's the Nile.
Okay.
So I'm trying to visualize what you're talking about right here. right? The ramp.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
but
This is a ramp from the Nile to the pyramid. Yeah, go.
Okay.
all right.
I need the visual.
They're saying that you would need more material to build the ramp than it would take to build the pyramid itself. Because the ramp, if it was a straight ramp, the straight ramp, in order to get a piece of fucking granite that weighed even 40 tons, like
1 to 80. So like,
I said 40,
So
which is
directly
in the middle. Eric. Directly in the middle.
I mean,
just for you, I said 40. I didn't say anything. Just listen,
40.
listen, you fucker. Okay, so based on like the plane and like obviously you can't have a ramp that goes like this, Eric, because when you're trying to bring 40 tons up this way, it doesn't work
slow
that way.
Ramp. Yeah, slow ramp.
So it's going to be a long ramp. It'd have to be over 2 miles long.
Totally fine. I can deal with that.
Yeah.
So you would need more material to build the ramp than it would take to build the fucking pyramid.
Yeah, but
It doesn't matter.
Eric's just gonna argue that
resources.
Like, yeah,
I
exactly.
am a Khufu.
I am a fucking pharaoh.
Fucking, that's right.
Bring it on.
Fucking Pharaoh Khufu.
How much does it cost?
Funny?
I didn't fucking ask you how much it
What's
costs.
funny?
Just do it.
Here's what's crazy is he just built the argument because you know how far the Nile is from the pyramid?
Dude,
How much? How
2
long?
miles.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Eric.
Okay. Well, but
It's
to
a
Sean's
slow ramp.
Yes, fine. But to Sean's point, it would take probably I don't even know how long, but it would take longer to build that ramp than it would be to take.
Totally fine. We have 20 years.
Eric,
don't worry about time.
Hey, Eric. Okay.
Friend.
Unlimited resources.
Okay, Eric, riddle me this. So let's say, like, on your ancient fossilized boat, you have a 40-ton. You have a 40-ton.
I have a 1 ton. There's.
Let's say
I'm gonna look it up right
Let's
now.
say you have a 10-ton block of granite on your little fucking pagoda boat. How the fuck do you get that off the boat onto the land to move it?
Yeah, I know these are great questions.
Yeah. Okay. Walk me through the science here.
There's a pulley system.
Yeah, and what are they pulling it off of?
With the ropies.
Okay, check it out.
With the ropies?
With the ropies. And then you have 17,000 men to get the one block.
And they're all holding a rope that's like 80 miles long.
Yeah.
So
Abraham.
I just looked up. I just looked up the average
Slack.
weight. The average
Belay
weight.
on. Sorry.
The average weight
Stop screaming. We're outside.
of a stone block in the Great Pyramid of Giza is about 2.5 tons.
Okay, so that's the lowest. That's
No, that's the
so
average. That's the average.
Yeah, I know, but he was saying 1 to 80.
Well, yeah, because
I know. I'm helping you.
Yeah,
I'm helping you.
There's more stones that are lesser. That's
Right.
what averages mean, Eric. When you add everything together.
I mean, if you apologize now, I mean,
what? What?
More
Anyways,
than 2.3 million limestone and granite blocks were pushed, pulled, or dragged into place. Yeah, 2.3
all right.
metric
Anyways,
tons.
this is his episode. Like this is his. We're not.
You're the one
we're
who
not
keeps interrupting
arguing. I know. My
Yeah.
bad. That's my apologies.
I know.
Anyway, so
we're getting
then-
ahead of ourselves. All right,
We
go
get
ahead,
into
Sean.
the spiral ramp.
I told you this was gonna peak. It's a slow buildup. We're 2.5 hours in. It's a slow
I'm
buildup.
literally poisoning your next beer. Legit.
Yeah. What did Hitler die of? What was
The fucking meth.
Yeah. No, what was the little cyanide?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just gonna stab you. So then we get to the spiral ramp theory. So the theory of being a hidden internal spiral ramp may have been used to move the stones in the pyramid. So infrared scans have detected anomalies inside the structure that could indicate such a ramp. This theory solves many problems of the traditional ramp theories, but physical evidence is still lacking. Yeah.
So you have your base, and then you have a spiral ramp.
Oh yeah,
that goes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean,
but still.
Honestly,
Doesn't make
I would hire Jorge.
Yeah, Jorge.
I just drew it out, sketched it out for Eric here.
And literally in 2025, Jorge's still building the pyramids.
Honestly, Jorge is my spiral, like in charge.
So, and like I said, like they get into the counterweight and lever theories, how they use levers and pulleys to gradually raise these heavy blocks, like slowly but surely. And then they get into the water buoyancy theories, which is, Eric's like the Nile River. Yeah. They suggest that they, in essence, like they water-filled chambers inside the pyramid and use some sort of buoyancy to lift the stones, which is like I'm sorry, like, I don't know if they had like a bunch of fucking balloons with helium in them to like lift these fucking. It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't matter how much water you use. You're not going to float a fucking 2.5 ton piece of granite. But what if they put some sort of, I don't know, like some sort of rafter or something under it that would float?
Yeah, I don't know if you ever seen.
But how do you get that water in there?
A 2.5 ton raft?
Yeah,
that's a lot of air.
Doesn't make sense, Eric.
Anyways,
so far.
So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from this because clearly this is a fucking pain point for Eric.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into the.
It's difficult. It's difficult. I'm gonna give it to you. This is difficult,
but this
logical. I don't know how.
Yeah, that's why honestly, it's still unsolved.
I was trying to figure out, and the other day I was like, "What's the biggest rock I've ever
moved?"
Yeah,
there's like I moved a 18-pound rock.
No, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I did a stone project that was like
little landscaping.
and it was like 112 pounds.
A stone project?
Yeah.
Man, a stone project.
A little landscaping stone project in my backyard.
I think the biggest problem I've ever had is 112 pounds or 110. You know, like right
heavy.
above, it's really heavy, right?
Super fucking heavy.
But I had 3 people in trying to figure out how to do 100
pound
thing.
Let alone 2.5 tons,
Yeah.
which is literally is 5,000 pounds.
And truth be told, that was extremely difficult to figure out how to move that properly.
Yeah.
And so if it was
5,000 pounds,
let's say it was the
limestone.
low end. Let's say it was the low end of the 2.
I did that. 2.5 tons.
2 tons.
5,000 pounds.
Yeah. So I understand.
5,000
fucking
pounds.
crazy.
Yeah.
So this, I think the next one is much harder to understand.
Mm.
The incredible precision in the stone cutting.
Mm. Yeah.
With their fucking rudimentary bullshit fucking utensils.
And this is the one that it would better serve you if you went there and saw how precise it is.
Dude, they're perfect.
Yeah.
They're
it's literally
smooth,
perfect.
and yeah.
But
I'm agreeing with you. That part's
the
wild.
thing about it is
There has to be some sort of machinery, some sort of advanced.
Dude, the thing about
fucking
these cuts are mind blowing to today's standards.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know how a quarry works, but it's you're breaking fucking random rock off a thing. You can't control.
No.
It's just a big rock, and then you have to literally cut it into perfectly symmetrical
I
blocks.
saw a video
It's
the other
fucking
day
impossible.
of the people that do that, and it's this massive fucking, I don't know, it seemed almost like a 4-story tall type of rock or something that they're cutting,
massive,
and then
bigger,
it just
taller.
falls, right, and then boom, and when it falls, then it breaks into pieces or whatever.
Yeah, and they pick up the pieces, and they have to
and then they
machine
work on it.
They
with machine
those fucking pieces into things. So the tools that they use for stone cutting, which we kind of talked about,
We did.
copper chisels.
Yep.
And then they used dolerite pounding stones, which we talked about.
Yep.
They had bronze saws with sand or quartz abrasives, and they had tube drills, which they could create deep, precise holes in the granite. So, how precise were these cuts? So, some of these granite blocks that were in the King's Chamber, which we talked about, they're cut with a precision of 0.02 millimeters, which is comparable to today's modern laser cutting. That's how precise, laser cut precision. Laser cut precision with bronze saws.
Yeah.
That is bronze saw to fucking 0.02 millimeters. It's like fucking CNC machines.
Yeah.
And so they're perfectly straight and
Look at this.
smooth surfaces.
Look at this.
Yeah. Jorge is showing a video of the precision of the cut.
And it's like this massive piece of granite that's being cut.
And it's just
smooth.
And it's just beautiful.
But also the size of that shit. And it's being done, of course, with some fucking bulldozer or something.
Is that with the laser tool?
I don't know. They're not showing that part, but anyways. I'm just showing you the massive, you're telling me that without any machinery, without any tools, without any technology, without any help,
some fucking ropes, some sleds,
some fucking copper, you're gonna cut
copper
with
pickaxes. So literally it's laser cut precision.
Yeah.
And so these basalt and granite stones were from Aswan, which is over 800 kilometers away.
Right.
So they also show signs of high-speed drilling, which I will get into next. And it's you can't really explain this, and let me just kind of get into it. So they call it the impossible core drill marks. In some of the quartz stone cores, there's spiral grooves that suggest like a high-speed drilling. So they're literally like, when you have a drill, it creates grooves, almost like a fucking drill bit.
Yeah.
And so this literally suggests high-speed drilling with advanced tools, like not with fucking like a little hand copper drill. So modern engineers struggle to replicate these cuts using conventional ancient tools. They've tried.
Really?
They've tried to like recreate it just to like prove it. Like, oh, okay, we'll use these ancient tools, and they can't do it. So some researchers propose that the Egyptians had unknown advanced stone cutting techniques that were either lost in time, and we can't understand how they did it. Maybe they had some sort of technology, but then that got lost.
It got lost. Yeah.
So we slightly touched on the. Well, I don't think we actually did touch on it, but there's the mystery of the casing stones. Originally, the Great Pyramid was covered in a highly polished white Tura limestone casing stones.
Oh, it must have been so pretty.
Dude, literally, it says it made it shine like a star in the sun. It was like a fucking. It was just like a beacon, dude. It was like boom.
Oh, God.
So almost all of those casing stones are gone, but even so, their construction's still like a kind of confusion and a mystery to historians. So the casing stones were fitted together so precisely that you couldn't fit a razor blade between them. Like that's how perfectly fit. And the casing stones go on top, and like it's so perfect you couldn't fit a fucking razor blade between them. You talking about some like ancient bros that can't fucking like make some shit that's that legit.
And I have seen this where the stones when they're put together,
it's perfect. It's literally perfect. It's like perfect.
Yeah.
Right. So that's not just that's not just muscle.
Troubling argument.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
that's like it's kind of like what Eric's saying is like it's just muscle. It's just fucking people pushing shit.
Just human will and ingenuity.
It's like no, that's something else.
So these stones were angled to exact measurements, and they gave the pyramid its smooth, sleek appearance. That's why it used to be. It was like a smooth, sleek appearance.
Yeah.
And so some of the joints, they would make the joints, they're less than 1/50th of an inch wide. And this demonstrates such an advanced level of craftsmanship that's like hard 1/50th of an inch.
Whoa.
It's like
God damn, that's
you
can't even measure that with your fingers.
Like it's nothing. It's literally nothing.
Yeah.
So the polished limestone blocks, they were quarried in Tura, which we talked about, and they were transported across the Nile.
So you said that was about 800 kilometers, right?
No, it's about Tura was 800 kilometers.
So just to put it into perspective, because I looked it up real quick. That's like
500 miles?
That's like the length of Alaska from top to bottom.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I think
but
I'm just telling
along the Nile.
Huh? Yeah. But I'm just saying like how far away that is.
Yeah. Is that
it's not like the Nile made it fucking faster.
Well,
Eric thinks it is.
Eric's like, it's like the highway, man.
Yeah. It's the highway of the what did you say? 800 miles?
800 kilometers.
What is that in miles?
It's about 500 miles.
500 miles, yeah.
So
it's fucking long.
They still don't know how they did it, like how they cut them and how they got so precise. It's like a fucking anomaly.
Yeah.
And so the majority of the casing stones, unfortunately, were stripped away during the Middle Ages, and they were used. They literally took the stones away and they used them to build like mosques and fucking fortresses and shit in Cairo because they were like beautiful and like shiny and like amazing. They were like, fuck yeah, we want this material.
Yeah.
So some of the original casing stones are still there at the base of the pyramid, and they show the original smooth, polished look, and that's how they were able to do these tests in terms of the razor blade and stuff. And then it would just be like you can only imagine that whole pyramid and wrapped in those, dude. It'd be wild. Damn, it's probably like the most beautiful fucking thing you've ever seen. Man.
It's like this bright, white, fucking shiny. You can see it from like fucking miles away.
Oh, dude, hell yeah. The fucking sun hits off it.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like, oh my God.
Somebody, I was at a thing and somebody was like, oh, if you could go back in time and see anything, one of the ones I was like, I would like to see the pyramids in their full
full glory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're full, like the day it completed.
So sick. Dude.
Like at the party.
The parade.
Oh,
The
man.
pyramid parade.
The mead was flowing like the Nile. There must have been a pyramid party.
Yes.
There must have been a pyramid after
It's
party.
probably like a pyramid orgy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oof. It sounds like a great time.
Everyone took showers that night.
Yeah. Well, Nile showers. Yeah.
Good enough for me, brother.
Dump it.
Just fuck it. YOLO. It's flooding tonight. The Nile's flooding tonight, boys. Let's fucking let it ride. So now we're going to get into the King's Chamber and then anomalous features, which we kind of touched on in terms of those giant stones. Yeah. But first is the location and the dimensions. So the King's Chamber is located 43 meters above the pyramid's base. So it's like 141 feet up. So it's 10
problem.
And it's 10.5 meters long, which is about 34 feet long, and it's 5.2 meters wide, about 17 feet, and it's about 20 feet high, like inside this chamber. And the chamber is constructed entirely from massive granite blocks, which are transported from Aswan. The total weight of all these blocks that constructed it is over 4,000 tons.
Fuck. Wow.
4,000 tons.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Do you realize that's 2 million pounds? Yeah. That's more than that. Sorry, that's 8 million pounds. It's 8 million pounds of rock. So the impossible granite blocks. The chamber ceiling is made of 5 massive granite slabs, each weighing 50 to 80 tons. Yeah. The ceiling.
That's this right here,
the
right?
ceiling. Yeah. These slabs rest on a series of relieving chambers above the ceiling, believed to distribute the weight of the pyramid to prevent the pyramid from collapsing on itself.
Right.
So they're literally, how the fuck do you position a
smart move.
50 to 80 ton stone 20 feet in the air?
The wrongs we must right. The fights we must win. The future we must secure together for our nation. This is what's in front of us. This determines what's next for all of us. We are Marines. We were made for this.
I think I just won my taxes.
Yeah?
I just switched to H&R Block in about 1 minute. All I had to do was drag and drop last year's return into H&R Block, and bam, my information is automatically there.
So I don't have to go digging around for all my old papers to switch?
Nope.
Sounds like we just leveled up our tax game.
Switching to H&R Block is easy. Just drag and drop your last return. It's better with Block.
You gotta build from the bottom.
That doesn't even make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean?
What do you mean build from the bottom? What the fuck are you talking about?
Those were there, and then you build above it, or you build like that's already there at the bottom, and then you build upward.
There's 20 feet of dead space below it. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm just saying, like how?
No, they had to be. You're saying build on top of them, but like
no.
Underneath them, there's nothing.
It's empty space.
Yeah.
No. So that's there, and then you build above it. Why is that not? Why is that not computing with you? Like you go. This is the space, and you're like, hey, we need to build above this.
That's like saying no. That's like saying like
but
okay.
How did they make the empty cavern that's underneath them? Did they dig that out?
You're like
afterwards?
that's like you saying
before.
like we're gonna build. Like this ceiling, we're gonna build. It's built from the bottom. Like we're just gonna build on top of it.
It's built on top of it.
No,
it's built on top of it.
There's like, it's a ceiling.
It's the roof.
Yes.
There's an empty space underneath.
Well, I don't mean to be like an engineer. I don't mean to be an engineer here.
But if I have to.
If I have to.
I can imagine like Eric.
If I'm forced into the situation.
Eric's one of the engineers on the pyramid program. He's got like a poster on the wall. It's like build above it. Yeah. Just build above.
No, I'm the guy who has the pyramid after party.
Party player. Eric's like the wine distributor. Like in Egyptian. No, but
obviously it's a feat. It's a feat.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they constructed it.
Just to put this in perspective. So the King's Chamber is 140 feet up.
Yeah.
And the King's Chamber itself is 20 feet. The chamber, empty chamber, 20 feet tall. 17 feet
Most
wide.
most houses don't even have fucking 20-foot ceilings.
Dude, 20 feet tall. Dude, 20 feet tall, 34 feet long, and fucking 17 feet wide. And there's 50 to 80 ton fucking granite blocks on for your ceiling.
To protect the weight.
That are literally relieving the pressure of the pyramid itself to prevent it from collapsing on itself.
The only way that I could see it as a possibility.
It's impossible.
This is the only possibility.
Impossible. The only possibility is impossible. This is the only fucking possible.
The only possibility I see is that you build the bottom frame. Yeah, you build the bottom foundation, the base, and then you build the square without the weight on top of it, and then you build the chambers, and then you have to build it on top with everything,
and then you dig out, and then you dig out the chamber,
right?
And then
what?
And then you have to build on top of it, and you hope the weight holds.
But how do you make the chamber? Though? How do you make the chamber?
Well, the chamber's right here.
No,
No,
the
that's a
chamber.
shaft.
No, that's a shaft. But the chamber is an empty space. It's 30 feet wide.
No,
It's 30. Sorry,
It's like a fucking like a living room or
imagine
something.
Imagine my living room, but with 20-foot ceilings, and there's 80-ton bricks on
It's
top.
massive. Like we could go do a podcast in the chamber. Like there's a lot of room.
Dude, I could live inside the chamber. It's bigger than my fucking house.
But I mean, how would you logically build it?
You that's the point. You can't.
You would have to have some sort. It can't be just muscle. It can't be.
What do you
It's
mean?
impossible.
Why?
It's 140 fucking feet in the air, Eric.
And it's
No,
fucking.
but
How many
you go
tons did we
up,
say it was?
so
How many
no,
tons?
Listen.
50 to 80, there's
We
4,000
already established
4,000 tons. 4,000 tons.
We already established there's ramps.
No, we said that was a hypothesis.
You already established ramps and then ramps to the Nile.
So
and then you
even
go, okay,
even
good.
if
So the chamber's built.
even if there was ramps helping you.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
There's chambers built, and you go, great. Now we need to protect the weight of the ceiling. We have a ramp. Build the ramp higher. Build the ramp higher.
No, the ramp needs to be 140 feet in the air.
Ramp, then you put the ramp above it, and you go, what do we need to secure?
Just build the ramp. It's a movable ramp.
I know every decision, every sentence I'm saying is like 6 years. Right? Like you're like, everything I'm saying is like another 18 months.
Right, but we already established like you got unlimited time.
Unlimited resources, unlimited time.
Yeah.
I got tons of union workers.
Eric, just listen to what you're saying. You're saying, okay, guys, just build the ramp higher. This chamber is 140 feet off the ground.
Yeah. Well,
Just
build it.
Just build the ramp
feet higher.
It's easy peasy. Build this mud ramp that's going to help.
You're like Professor Eric. How are we going to do this? I'm like, time is not a problem.
But my point is, like, even if
resources
you could
is
build
not
a bigger ramp,
problem. Trust
you
me,
still have a chamber.
I know Khufu. Okay,
Oh my God.
you still have a
Khufu
chamber
are tight.
inside, and inside this chamber on the ceiling, you have fucking 4,000 pound, whatever ton, whatever
Tons.
the fuck
to distribute the weight, right? Because
how do you get it up there?
Okay,
You don't.
so I already explained it to you. So you build the ramp higher in the circular plan that you had talked about, right?
Oh my God, Eric! I wish. Can we save this? Can we put?
Yes, this got to go on the Patreon.
Don't forget this. Don't forget this.
I want to put Eric's drawings on the Patreon. Dude.
Jorge, don't forget this drawing you made. Okay, because that's a lot of evidence.
Oh my fucking God!
And
dude.
you go up and you put them up higher. I don't understand. How is this complicated? You fucking make the ramp higher. It's not a big deal. Just be like great. Like we need to put a ramp higher,
dude.
God fucking damn it! I gotta pee. Fucking goddamn it.
We can't do this.
I mean,
so Eric, listen.
Okay.
Not even factoring in how they moved 50 to 80 ton blocks 140 feet in the air to fucking put them in the ceiling. How did they even have a grasp of fucking structural engineering to even know that they needed to do that?
Yeah.
How did they even know that? Like, oh wait,
also look at that precision too. Back to that.
I know it's so smooth.
It's so fucking smooth.
smooth.
It's insane. It's unfucking fathomable.
We're looking at a photo right now of one of the chambers, the King's Chamber. In the, I mean, aside from the main block, you know what I mean, like the main block.
That's supposed to be the tomb.
That's probably
right?
that's probably like the only fucked up piece.
Yeah.
Of the is like the.
But the rest of the room is smooth,
dude. It's smooth as.
And it's 20 feet.
Yeah.
And
Like,
it has fucking
yeah.
tons of fucking
50
granite
to 80
over your
ton
head.
granite blocks. Like, how do you put those in? It's dude. So we're gonna finish the King's Chamber thing, and then we're gonna have to resume the rest of the next episode. But I'm gonna move on from the impossible. Literally, it's called the impossible granite blocks. It's fucking impossible.
Okay.
Even the researchers are like, this shit's impossible.
But Eric figured it out.
It's super simple.
You build a bigger ramp.
Build a ramp. Just
Move the ramp.
Make it bigger.
It's pretty simple.
Just make it better.
Yeah.
So next,
What if they'd made it and then the Pharaoh's like, not good enough.
Yeah.
Give me another 10 feet.
Move that to the left. It's a smidge.
Make pyramids great again.
Just map up.
I mean, we already learned there's hundreds of pyramids before. We fucked it up. Make them great again.
So the next is the anomalous features and the strange resonance properties of the King's Chamber. So the King's Chamber is known for its unique acoustic properties. The room appears to resonate at specific frequencies, which some researchers suggest it could have intentional, unknown purposes.
I've heard of this. Yeah, I've heard of this.
So they theorize that the chamber may have been designed to amplify sound or vibrations, possibly as part of some sort of energy generating mechanism. And the precise shaping of the chamber could indicate an ancient understanding of resonance and vibrational physics. So some sort of like, like energy
sound god,
or some maybe some sort of energy transference, or some things such as that.
Like a DJ room? Like that? That's where they threw the after parties?
Hell yeah. That's like the fucking pyramid party. So the next is the empty granite sarcophagus and its strange dimensions. So the chamber contains a rectangular, which we looked at. So it contains a rectangular, lidless granite sarcophagus, which is too large to fit through the passageways. Meaning it was placed there before the construction was completed.
Correct. So
Meaning
they built it around.
it cannot go through the doors.
So that was the first thing that the ramp brought in? Is that what
you see this?
You're about to say?
This makes sense now because you're building it around it.
Eric, your logic.
Here's a great analogy. Yeah.
Okay, I just got what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just got it.
Okay. It took forever.
I know.
So have you ever built a room around a piece of furniture?
No, none of us have. What the
never
fuck are
built
you
a
talking
room.
about?
No, I have.
When have you built a room?
We have a couch in our house that will never leave that house.
Well, because you built your house around the fucking couch?
Or the couch was constructed within it and there's no way to remove it.
Yeah, I know.
But the house was built before the couch, though.
Correct, but I'm just saying that the construction occurred within and there's no exit.
Yeah, I know what he's saying. Like, so you build it in, and then you build
will
around
not give
it,
him anything.
and there's no way. There's no way to get the whole
reprieve.
piece out.
Correct.
Unless you dismantled it again.
Yes, correct.
So it's like you're saying the IKEA pyramid.
Yeah,
like it's from Switzerland.
Yeah, it's called the
close.
The Duchamucha.
Yeah, like the pyramid girl.
Yeah. Correct.
Anyways, so
solid argument.
So unlike the other Egyptian tombs, no inscriptions or hieroglyphs exist in the chamber or sarcophagus.
Strange.
Which is highly unusual for a pharaoh's burial site.
That's correct.
Highly unusual.
So in all of the Valley of the Kings, every tomb has writings on the wall.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Even King Tut, even the ones that were raided, etc. So that's why it's very
odd.
confusing.
And if you look at the walls and you can look at the pictures, it's like smooth walls.
So it almost actually tells me it's maybe not a tomb.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
But then, what is it doing there?
What? Just the box?
Yeah. Why a fucking
but maybe it wasn't a
granite
tomb.
box?
Well, there's no evidence that says it was a tomb.
I know, but what's the box for?
I know.
Like treasure? It's like a bed. Maybe it was like
storage.
It's like a little like Storage, yeah, it's like his garage. The garage chamber.
Usually the simplistic explanation is like the best.
I know, it's like a little storage trunk at the end of the bed.
Your barbecue equipment. Like
it's like smokers in there. It's like,
you're like,
fucking bring this out again.
Your kids' floaties.
Fucking green egg.
I know, like 140 feet off the ground. Just put the shit up there. So anyways, the internal dimensions of the sarcophagus match the mathematical proportions of a perfect cuboid, leading some to speculate it served a purpose beyond burial. Meaning, I think it might have something to do with this resonance factor. I'm a big believer in that there's some sort of energy, like power plant kind of properties to the pyramids.
Okay.
Which we'll get into later. So some researchers believe it could have been used for sound resonance experiments and energy storage, like I was just alluding to. So
maybe there's are you kind of saying that there's maybe some sort of energy that exists that we don't know that technology?
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's an example. I'll give you a classic example. So Nikola Tesla. So Nikola Tesla created a system, arguably, which would be able to harness energy from the atmosphere, just from existing, and it was it's free energy. And then Nikola Tesla all of his patents were stolen by fucking what's his tits? Fucking,
made
the light bulb. Fucking They took all his patents. Blah blah blah. But there's been many talks of being able
Edison?
to Thomas Edison, exactly, being able to harness energy just from the atmosphere. And I think that is highly probable in my viewpoint on being like the way it was constructed. Everything's so precise it couldn't be just on accident. Yeah. Like this is not. They didn't fucking accidentally.
No.
This shit was on purpose, like for a very specific purpose. Yeah. And what other purpose other than providing energy or some sort of power for your civilization would make sense? Like to bury a motherfucker in the biggest, most complex motherfucking thing in the universe, for him to lay his dead body in, no. I'm sorry. Like I cannot get behind that. I cannot get behind that.
No, but I could
because that's like a higher purpose. Yeah. I can see the workers being like, hell yeah, I want to build this shit. Yeah. We're gonna be fucking set up.
Yeah.
Like I can see the workers really wanting to build that. Not really wanting to build
unless they were
fucking
slaves.
Giant. Exactly. That's a good point. They had no choice.
Yeah.
It's build or die.
Yeah, exactly.
You want that bread? Motherfucker? Like you about to build this fucking pyramid.
With really good medical benefits.
Just great bennies. Like Blue Cross Blue Shield. Yeah. Like 100%.
Yeah.
And a bakery.
And a bakery for croissants.
And a pub.
Get your cookie every day.
Croissants.
So the last is the magnetic and electromagnetic anomalies. So some of the modern tests have detected unusual electromagnetic properties inside the King's Chamber. Researchers have reported changes in compass readings and unexplained energy fluctuations when inside the chamber. This has fueled speculation the chamber was not a tomb, but part of a larger energy-related function of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Obviously, I believe granite also has inherent electromagnetic properties. So it being made out of granite, I think may have something to do with that. How they knew that is also beyond me. So I'm going to leave you guys here because the next thing that we're going to discuss is probably like the most insane thing. Because I remember when this happened. I remember literally seeing this happen and being like, wait, what the fuck? And this is the Queen's Chamber and the secret fucking doors. And you probably know about this because they did all these, dude, it's insane. And how they did it and how they built it, Eric cannot explain. Eric will have no fucking...
There's no ramps.
Little drawing, fucking ramp
no
diagrams.
Spiral ramps.
Yeah, like it's so insane. It's to me that was the smoking gun.
Yeah.
I was like, these motherfuckers did not fucking this like, put slaves at it. Like, no, fuck no. like that, and then we're gonna get into obviously the Queen Chamber, the secret doors. We're going to get into more on my energy hypothesis in terms of the pyramids being a power plant.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
The PC gave us computing power at home, the internet connected us, and mobile let us do it pretty much anywhere. Now generative AI lets us communicate with technology in our own language using our own senses. But figuring it all out when you're living through it is a totally different story. Welcome to Leading the Shift, a new podcast from Microsoft Azure. I'm your host, Susan Ettlinger. In each episode, leaders will share what they're learning to help you navigate all this change with confidence. Please join us. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
What about do you have stuff that's about the theories of how they were built, like that were of not
I've got
localized engineers?
Oh, you're saying like Anunnaki type thing?
Yeah, like a major. I don't fucking.
No, we do.
Yeah,
I get into all the I get into various theories in terms of like theories of the construction, theories of lost technology, and then all those theories.
Like if it's a plausible scenario of a civilization that came down that were not from here.
Yeah, 100%.
Why?
Well,
yes.
Right? And like, what were they doing? What was the point of it?
No.
We have theories.
Okay. Is it
I don't have theories as to why.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I just have theories as to how that's plausible.
Yeah. Okay.
Because obviously, like if you think about it, and I'll touch on it a little bit here. So you think of the pharaohs. The pharaohs were considered deities. The pharaohs were considered gods. So isn't it interesting how the pharaohs are always the gods specifically and the pharaohs specifically? They're always depicted as being humanoid bodies with some sort of animal type head. Like you look at Horus has a hawk head. You look at Anubis has a dog head. But a humanoid body.
Yeah.
And then you look at the pharaohs, and the pharaohs always wore their intricate headdresses. They wore weird shit to kind of... So that in and of itself is like, what if the pharaohs were actually considered gods because they came from above?
They were
and
gods.
They came down and they were gods to the people. The people literally viewed them as gods because they gave them this technology. They gave them this ability to create these things. Listen, if we were here right now in 2025 and some fucking fuckers came down, these giant humanoid dudes with fucking things, and they were like, look at this technology, like we can do this and that. Tell me like 80% of the human race would be like, these motherfuckers are gods.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
I think
these guys are gods.
Didn't we bring it up in the Life is a Simulation episode? We were talking about the definition of a god. Like, what is it? Like, what does what does man consider a god just because they can do things that we can't do?
Yeah.
Does that
it's
define
like
them as
like miracle type shit?
Anything that's unexplainable that cannot be done by humans.
Yeah, that's right.
Is considered godlike.
And that's why our obsession with like Marvel and or superheroes and that kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, but it's been going on for if you look at any ancient texts, any ancient belief systems, any ancient stories, they all revolve around these type of occurrences, these type of experiences.
Yeah.
People descending from the heavens, doing miracles, doing things that cannot be explained.
Yeah.
And obviously it gets wrote off as like, fucking fantasy, and everyone was a fantasy writer. Man, they're trying to make Audible books like back in the ancient times.
Yeah.
No, because that's why I think the truest thing that we have, unfortunately, is ancient scripture. Because I think back then, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 years ago, they weren't writing shit down to like make a cool story to sell something. They were writing it down because it's what they knew. They needed to pass it on to the next generation. Like we have to record it so they can understand what's happening. It wasn't like now, you know, books in fantasy is become a pastime. It's become something a leisurely, it's sort of like an art. It's an escape. It's an escape from the harsh realities of the world.
Yeah.
Whereas back then it wasn't like an escape. It was
like a mixture between legend telling and history.
Exactly. Pass it down. Yeah. It was about, because there wasn't
like, let me tell you about a story about a Noah. I know the story, and you tell the story in the bonfire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
if you think
my great granddaddy.
If you think of it from a real perspective, though, it's like, you know, what are we trying to do? Like, what are we trying to do as human beings? Like, we're trying to connect, and that's why social media is so popular. You know,
true.
I think on an inherent baseline, we're trying to connect with everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to pass on, we're trying to experience, like, share communal experience. You know, fucking 6,000 years ago, there was no fucking Instagram. You're like, hit somebody up in the DMs.
Yeah.
So what could you do? You're like, you can record it and you can pass it down to the next generation. That's your way of connecting with everyone. The only way of connecting is by, like, recording what you saw and, like, telling other people about it.
Yeah.
That's the only way you could fucking connect. The only way you could actually make a big enough connection with other motherfuckers other than yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
I always wondered, like, if all of a sudden, snap, our civilization is gone, what would be recorded in our culture?
Dude, I mean, who would survive that?
I mean, like, it would be like my drawing of like that drawing that I just did
with the fucking ramp. Oh my god!
Do you know what I mean? Like,
so
no, and so just imagine our civilization's gone.
And somebody sees this, they're like, "What the fuck is?"
No,
this?
and what remains 1,000 years from now? What remains? Like the papers
My
that
house
I had,
definitely will not remain.
Yeah,
100%.
Or your doodles, or your porn drawings, or like whatever.
Porn drawings?
No, I just mean like you know all of that.
Yes.
No, and in ancient Egypt, they have sexualized
They're like
hieroglyphs.
fucking like
you have things like that. And
That's
so,
another thing about the hieroglyphs. They always depicting people, the giant humans who are clearly bigger than the other ones.
Yes.
And there's like the servant ones, and there's like the big fucking.
So we went through that whole like thing of like how long ago it was, and like I just think it's an interesting exercise to go, well, what remained as history, and what remained as culture or like pop.
Yeah,
not pop culture, but like
in that sense back then, what could have been? Because obviously, it's
they had it. They must have had it.
It's foolish to say. It's foolish to say that they didn't have any sort of like any sort of like like
dude,
fucking Gazette.
Yes, you have to know that some of those hieroglyphs were like a newsletter.
Yeah, for sure. Like
Or some like bullshit ass fucking.
Last Wednesday, Ramsey took a shit off
right? I know. It's got to be true. So I don't know. Yeah.
That's a good point. That's actually a good point. That's actually
you never know what is passed down as history compared to
some tabloids or something.
Like
they had something going on.
Yeah, like logged things.
You know it'd be funny if like what if like we put all the significance on like this culture, and what if like all the hieroglyphs were really just like this like, real like raunchy like bullshit.
Dude.
Like Tim fucking shit on Stacy.
Yeah.
Fucking yesterday.
No, I know. And like what if
super raunchy, like insane.
What if our civilization ended right now? And then all of a sudden, all we had was TMZ. 1,000 years ago, 1,000 years later, TMZ is our history.
No, or it's like OnlyFans. OnlyFans.
Oh my
OnlyFans.
God.
They're like,
And you're like, what the fuck? Right?
This is how civilization
no
is.
wonder they're not around anymore.
Yeah. So you never know. I don't know.
That's a good point. That's actually
you never
you know
know.
what? That's a good point.
Right?
That's the first good point you made tonight.
No, I don't know.
The only good point.
All right, well, there you guys go. We're going to do a couple more episodes on the pyramids. We have a lot more to go into. This is a time period of humanity that was thousands of years, so it's hard for us to
conceptualize in one episode.
Put it into 1 hour. It's
I know I have
it's
a
almost
lot
impossible.
more inconsistencies, like I mentioned.
So we're gonna give Sean an extra episode, you know, and at the end of it, I will make that note that he got 2 episodes. And for our own arguments.
Or somehow Eric is going to get 3. We'll see.
If we really want to go into it, I mean, Eric has like 87 episodes. So it's like, if we're really going to like count fucking favors here.
But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's a lot more to obviously digest and all this sort of thing. Yeah. So,
but obviously write in, subscribe, follow, listen,
let us know.
Review.
And especially, honestly, if you guys want to throw in comments and or emails and or feedback about, because we're not going to do another recording for a little bit. So if you want to add into the next episodes.
You have time.
Yeah. So, but you got to do it pretty quickly.
Immediately. As soon as this comes out, you have to fucking do it.
So you can email us at info@theconspiracypodcast.com. You could DM us at any of the social media that we have.
I think you can get the email through the website at theconspiracypodcast.com.
Yeah, and you can subscribe to our email newsletter kind of thing. And
or you can just get in the Discord and you can just write it directly to us, like direct message, instant.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do it on the Patreon, and you can do it that way too.
That's right. Mm-hmm. It is our longest episode we've ever done. So congrats.
Nice.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for listening all the way to the end of our scenario.
There's been quite a few high noons tonight. So there you go. And as always, my friends, nighty night.